Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast between Grubby and mouzMorrow. Game 1 taking place here on Metalopolis. Game 1 in a series, not going to give you too much information so far. I will try to update the total wins over here, put a Grubby and a 1 or a Grubby and a 2 as this... Or what mouzMorrow 1, mouzMorrow 2, as this series continues, as we now have an Overlord making its way out from mouzMorrow. mouzMorrow will be able to scout very quickly, but Grubby at the same time should be able to quickly scout out mouzMorrow as well. This is a GSL, TSL, ESL, or not your standard Blizzard version of the map, so you cannot have an ally spawn, but it doesn't look like Grubby knows that. So Grubby now perhaps making his way out to a cross spawn first. Okay, it looks like yes, he is going to be going cross spawn first, as he can easily come out with a probe, check over on this side if it is going to be a close ally spawn, and then make its way back. So he's doing a full cross spawn first here on Metalopolis, and now should be able to chrono boost a couple times pretty easily. mouzMorrow already deciding to back off with this one particular Overlord, and now going to park itself over here in order to see how many Vespene Geysers Grubby will currently be trying to go for. And you can now see a probe now making its way, and the probe will be able to come up that ramp very easily and gain a lot of information. mouzMorrow opting to go for a refinery first, and sorry, not a refinery, extractor first, followed by a spawning pool. This is the same strategy that he did go for against MC. So nothing too out of the ordinary there, as we now see an Overlord. He did see that there was one Vespene Geyser, deciding to back off, and now he'll try to keep track of that second Vespene Geyser without getting revealed. It looks like mouzMorrow is just far enough away and should be able to check if it is going to be double gas geyser in just a second. mouzMorrow trying to be very careful. He just wants to be able to see that one particular geyser there without actually revealing himself. The probe now down over here just on patrol, making sure that that gateway or that hatchery is not placed down anytime soon. But based upon the timing, most likely there's going to be 4 Zerglings coming down in order to get some damage onto Grubby's probe in just a moment anyways. The drone may try to do some scouting, but not going to be able to do very much at all. You can see now a second assimilator coming in, and mouzMorrow does in fact see it. So mouzMorrow now deciding to back away with this Overlord, and I like this scouting technique by mouzMorrow. mouzMorrow pretty much seeing what he needs to see, and now, oh, he still did not see that Overlord there. So Grubby may think that he's being pretty sneaky by not having any drones inside his base yet, but mouzMorrow pretty much knows everything he needs to know in this battle. He knows that there are 2 assimilators down. Most likely there is going to be 1 gateway, 1 cybernetics core, and we'll see if Grubby tries to go for mass sentries, a 3-gate expansion with sentries, or if he actually goes for, say, a different strategy, and that strategy would perhaps could be sentries, or not sentries, void rays, or even observers and early colossi. That one drone just still wandering around, and it looks like that sentry going to be able to get that off that final attack very easily. Down it goes. Yeah, sentry able to get off. It sounded like 3 shots, but I believe it was only 2, unless the sentry is actually able to move and attack and get off that attack that quickly. That would actually be a little bit worse than Stutter Step, as the sentry normally has a very slow or a slower attack speed, but that would actually mean he was attacking faster than a Marine for a moment. Overlord here and an Overlord here as well. The Queen now going to make its way down to that low ground, should have enough energy, as mouzMorrow going to slowly macro his way into this game. It does look like it is going to be a 2-gate expansion, as Grubby now getting those 2 additional gateways without any additional tech buildings. He does have a decent number of sentries already, or continuing to warp them in, and that one Overlord now taking a fair amount of damage, but it looks like it should be able to get far enough away in order to not fall down or get taken down here. We are going to be getting that Cybernetics core research for that warp gate completed in just a moment, as we should also be getting a Nexus down here. There you go. There is that 3-gate expansion I was talking about just moments ago. So 3-gate expansion by Grubby against mouzMorrow, and what may be happening from Grubby's point of view is Grubby may try to warp in additional sentries, and then by warping in additional sentries, be able to fend off any early harassment and early rushes just with pure force fields. After those force fields after he gets enough sentries, he may try to go for a robotics facility and then a robotics bay, and then a robotics facility for those Colossi. Colossi are very, very strong. excuse me, against any type of ground unit. And now mouzMorrow currently just getting some spine crawlers, and we already see some hallucinations coming in as well. So that's very interesting, seeing the hallucination being used by Grubby. Perhaps he wants to get some mirror images in homage to the Blade Master, but then again, I don't think I've ever seen Grubby in recent memory use a mirror image, even in Warcraft 3. This Nexus will be up. There is now going to be a Scouting Phoenix on the move. Scouting Phoenix will quickly reveal that it is an hallucination as it tries to deal damage to that Overlord. And that Overlord is just like, I'm getting hit, I'm getting hit. No, I'm not. The Phoenix still just wandering around there, taking a fair amount of damage. Not going to be able to do anything but scout. But that's all Grubby really wanted to do. Spend a couple points of energy in order to scout and figure out if he can move out. Stalkers and sentries are the majority of that army. Very curious as to how he actually has that much gas to get a Stalker Sentry army this large. We are going to be getting some Roaches joining in on this fight, but with 2 Spine Crawlers in the front, that is going to be a very, very difficult front door to break unless Grubby perhaps gets a lot of Zealots. Oh, there's the Force Field as the Stalkers now going to continue to battle out. There's one group of sentries, and now are we going to get some Force Fields? More Force Fields coming in. Roaches now on the high ground getting in some damage, and oh, 1 Spine Crawler down to about 37 hit points there, but still able to survive. Sentries are now continuing to hallucinate more Phoenixes, and I would have actually liked to see perhaps a lot of Zealots warped in, or hallucinated. By having those Zealots absorb the majority of that damage, it probably would have been a little bit more effective than that Guardian Shield. Guardian Shield is not that effective against Spine Crawlers, only effective against low damage, high attack rates, such as Banshees, Marines, and even Hydralisk. Hydralisk have a very fast attack rate as well. Overlord just sitting over here, not just watching the gap, making sure that nothing's really happening. Grubby now going into that robotics bay that I was talking about earlier. Yeah, robotics bay about 55 seconds away from being completed. Sitting over here, there's the robotics facility trying to chrono boost when he was supply locked. A little bit of a mistake there by Grubby, as the sentries are still just walking around looking for a fresh target. Grubby now sitting on level 1 weapons upgrade research, as we are now going into mouzMorrow. mouzMorrow now going into the tunneling claws and burrow. And I did just cast the game against OGS's MC right before this, so this is a little bit of deja vu in terms of strategy. Pneumatized Carapace is now being upgraded as well, so those Overlords will be able to move very, very quickly in addition to those Overseers. More Roaches being added to the army as the Hydralisk Den about to be completed. Most likely we will be seeing that Groove Spine research come in just a moment. Stalkers now making their way down, and oh, 1 Roach up on that high ground, and yeah, the Stalker's able to quickly shoot down that Roach there. And now with 1 Observer joining the battle, this Creep Highway is going to get destroyed in just a matter of seconds. The Tunneling Claw's not going to be as effective as he originally hopes, and now the Stalkers need to be careful, need to try to blink away if possible. And now finally off of Creep, and because he's off of Creep, he knows that he can easily escape. Back over here, ooh, a burrowed Zergling by mouzMorrow. He wasn't able to actually stop the Nexus, even though it looks like that burrowed Zergling should be right inside the build there. So that's kind of cute, as we are now seeing another Zergling just patrolling in between those 2 locations. Sentries and Stalkers still comprised in this army. About a 1,000 resource difference between these 2 armies. Worker supply, you can see the difference. Definitely an advantage by mouzMorrow in order to have a much stronger worker supply at this stage. Phoenix still looking to I guess put some pressure on those Overlords, but he's not really doing any pressure damage at all, as that Phoenix's hallucination doesn't really deal any damage. We can see the probes now being transferred here, and they will be able to mine out in just a moment. 12 probes being transferred to 8 mineral patches, no diminishing returns at all, as Grubby no longer has a full set of probes over here at his main base. He still needs to at some point try to establish an expansion here. As you can see, the gateways and pylons established over here to make sure that no units will be able to run in along this far side. The Phoenix still keeping track of this army, and mouzMorrow just keeping track of all of these Roaches. Not quite sure what he plans on doing with these Roaches. He may try to run up this ramp in just a moment, but that would be a really, really bad play, as Grubby has plenty of time to just try to force field many of those units, and you can see a couple roaches quickly getting destroyed and shot down there, only at the cost of 2 force fields. And now some photon cannons pushing pressure over there. We are now getting damage on the front door here. Gateway now trying to upgrade to a warp gate. 1 photon cannon hasn't even gotten a full kill. Colossus now going to try to come in there, getting some damage in. And there is 1 burrowed roach. That burrowed roach, unable to really put any pressure. Is it going to be able to run away? It does not look like it. As you can see, more units were torched over here by the front door. So both sides getting a lot of just trying to put damage on both sides, but Grubby very, very much protected as he now warps in an additional gateway here on the far side of that Metalopolis expansion. We are getting another upgrade or another expansion by mouzMorrow. mouzMorrow has a significant economic lead now, so mouzMorrow could almost sit back, relax, get up to 2,000 or 200 resources, and then just try to macro up as quickly as possible. Make sure to get off a lot of spawn larvae. Off of his 4 hatcheries, he already has 24 larvae. So that is, in fact, a very large number of larvae. He can train up a decent-sized army in just a matter of seconds. And there's the force fields. Roach is now trying to burrow their way through. They are going to be able to burrow, but more force fields coming in on top. The Colossi are now getting destroyed. Stalkers continuing to battle it out as those Stalkers are now being forced to fight a ground army against Roaches. The Stalkers do not have Blink yet, so that is the reason why those Roaches are able to escape. I think if those Stalkers actually had Blink, he would have been able to blink straight on top of them, and that battle would have gone a completely different way. Grubby and mouzMorrow, both sides losing about the same number of resources so far, as those roaches are now just going to be regenerating very, very quickly. If you wonder how much damage a roach can regenerate, it is 10 hit points a second with tunneling claws. During the beta, at one point it was 20, so that is an even larger amount of damage. Roach is now just giving chase against those Stalkers. Stalkers trying to fight back, but no, they're just getting picked apart. And this is going to be a very, very bad battle as those Immortals need to try to get up into the front. In comes some force fields. Roaches now trying to push through in once again. Those Roaches are getting a lot of damage in. And now more units need to continue to try to battle this out. The Immortals unable to really do that much damage at all, as we are finally getting Blink on those Stalkers. Perhaps an offensive Blink in order to deal more damage. And now I think mouzMorrow still just slightly ahead in this war of attrition. But mouzMorrow also having a larger army. And, oh no, he no longer has more income. You can see the difference, 2,100 versus 1,700. I'm actually curious as to how is that actually possible when he's mining off of less mineral patches. Perhaps he's oversaturated at the natural base over here. Stalkers now finding their target and now going to try to battle it out against more units here. Roach is now coming in from behind as well. The Roaches going after those Immortals, and those Immortals are getting destroyed. But the Stalkers able to get more damage against the rest of those units. Corruptors in the air needs to run away, but oh, there's that offensive Blink that I was talking about just a moment ago. And now those Stalkers perhaps will be able to continue that damage and put even more pressure. And Grubby doing a great job now getting back into this army-wise. 4,600 versus 4,000. Grubby now with the stronger army, even though he also has more harvesters as well, so he has a stronger economy. He has 2 things going for him. But the longer this game goes, mouzMorrow should be able to start transferring some drones over here. There we go, transferring some drones to this fresh group of 8 mineral patches and perhaps able to get even more damage. Roach is now going to battle it out. 2-1 upgrades. Stalkers are upgraded 2-0, so things are not looking good for those Stalkers, as those lower hit point Stalkers now just blinking away, getting a lot more damage. And now Immortals continue to battle it out, as Stalkers just trying to get as much damage as possible. Immortals also getting quickly destroyed by those Roaches, as the Stalkers trying to fight their way through against those Roaches. A lot of Hydralisks now coming in, and now 2 fresh Colossi coming in to deal more damage. The Corruptors, however, finding their target, now going after that last Colossus there, but losing all of the Corruptors except 1. Overlord's now getting destroyed, and now mouzMorrow, I think, yes, he is starting to lose even more. So you now see about a 4,000 resource difference as the economies are starting to even out just a little bit further. Stalkers are still upgraded 2-1, and the Stalkers need to try to fight their way through. Stalkers blinking back, and you can see that Colossus doing a great job just trying to run away, but now getting sniped down once more. The Stalkers still blinking up onto that high ground, trying to get more damage in as well. It looks like the Roaches are going to try to get some damage onto the Nexus, as photon cannons now join in on the fight. And that's going to help Grubby out, as they're going to absorb some damage, quickly getting destroyed. Both sides still battling it out here, as there's some Stalkers on a vacation, not battling it here. You can still see some bit of micro there trying to blink away with those lower hit point stalkers, and beautiful stalker blinks now coming in from Grubby. Grubby showing the importance of micro in StarCraft 2, and now between using offensive and defensive blinking, getting a lot of damage across multiple overlords and roaches. Wow, beautifully done by Grubby. And I must say, I am very impressed by Grubby's style of play right now. This is, I think Grubby's reached a new level in terms of StarCraft 2, being able to keep up with Morrow. We are getting the Templar Archives and Immortals coming in. Hydralisk also being added to this army as well. Nice warp gates production, making sure to not have anything on cooldown so far. As where is those warp gates? Oh, I don't. Can I view and hit W? Nope. Cannot keep track of his warp gates. Stalkers are now upgraded to 1. Should be upgraded to 2-2 in just a moment. And Grubby is also very, very careful. And I also like Grubby's style of play with High Templars. Grubby is very effective with his High Templars. He knows how to warp them in, get Psystorm. He's going to start warping in High Templars in just a moment. And by having those High Templars out, it's going to be able to save up a lot of energy very, very easily. Those Stalkers now making their way out. He needs to perhaps clean up that creep highway a little bit further. There are Stalkers over here, and now those Roaches now making their way out. Both sides sitting on near maximum food size armies. But you can see 6175 versus 4100 as the Stalkers, tried to blink a little bit too far. Able to at least shoot down as the main army, does not want to try to engage here. Too many Corruptors. The Corruptors are upgraded to 0. That is a significant amount of damage. 24 damage plus the additional 30% with Corruption. 32 damage per round of attack. And those Corruptors also deal attack fairly quickly as well. We can see what's going to be happening in just a moment as a Phoenix now making their way out. So a lot of Phoenixes now making their way out across the map. Are we going to get any hallucinated Colossi? That would actually be a very interesting strategy, as High Templars are now being joined in on this group. It's going to be about another 30 seconds or so before those High Templars actually have enough energy to Psystorm. But if Morrow is not careful, he's going to try to burrow underneath force fields and then just be stuck underneath Psystorms, which is going to be a lot of damage to try to compensate for. Sentries now making their way out. Colossi, Stalkers blinking back and forth. There's that Psystorm, and beautiful Psystorms, and Morrow says GG. So yeah, Morrow getting completely caught off guard by those Psystorms, and then followed up with the rest of those Colossi, dealing damage, and just really, really well done. Decent use of Psystorm there. You can still see he only cast 3 Psystorms. 2 of his High Templars still had enough energy to finish off the rest of that battle, but really, really well played by Grubby. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay and game 1 in this series. I'll go ahead and update this now for you guys. So, let's see, 1. Grubby. I know there was someone out there who specifically asked me to do this, so here you go. I don't think I'm actually going to have enough room to actually include mouse in there anymore, so there you go. And yeah, there you go. Grubby at 1, Morrow at 0. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay between Grubby and Morrow here on Metalopolis.